Indiscretion of American Wife at Terminal Station. Indiscretion of American Wife at Terminal Station. One's a movie that was cut down by 20 minutes, and the other one is the full thing. The bottom one's better. Hello there, Nate Jackson, Criterion Collection reviewer guy here, with number 202, Vittorio De Sica's Terminal Station and quote-unquote David O. Selznick's Indiscretion of an American Wife. Can't even see that. See, I wish, why do they gotta make these DVDs so dark? What possessed Criterion to think that this was a good design? I mean, I've noticed that a lot of Criterion's recent DVDs have been a lot lighter. The artwork is a lot lighter and otherwise. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. It's 1953, 54 when this was made. Terminal Station was 88 minutes. Indiscretion of an American Wife is, it says it's 71 minutes, but technically it's 61 minutes. It's 62 minutes. I'll explain why later. So anyway, yes, this is we got another Vittorio De Sica film, and this one is actually produced in English. It stars Jennifer Jones, who's an actress. I didn't recognize her, and also stars Montgomery Clift, who's in From Here to Eternity, From Here to Eternity, which I've never seen, but I recognize his name from that movie. So there you are. And so Jennifer Jones plays this wife whose her name is Mary, and she's visiting Italy for a while, and she is going to see this guy named Giovanni, and she's about to ring his doorbell and say goodbye to him or say something to him, but she ends up running away and going to a train station, the terminal station if you will, and going in and buying she buys a ticket to Paris. While she's there, she meets up with her nephew Paul, and they meet, and she buys a dress for her daughter Nancy Patsy. I don't remember her daughter's name. You never meet the daughter, but she buys a dress for her, and she writes a note to this Giovanni guy, and says, and it's revealed just through the text, my love, that they had an affair, that she's a married woman, and she had an affair with this guy, this Italian guy. And so anyway, she's going to get on the train, and but at the same time she ends up meeting meeting Giovanni, and they talk, and he wanted to say goodbye, and and they have this discussion where, like, she's trying to break it off with him and say goodbye and all that, and he doesn't really want to. He wants to keep her here, keep her in Italy, and so there's all that. And at the same time, he's just trying to just express his love for her and keep her in Italy and all that. So anyway, just that. What else happens? It's weird when you watch two different versions of the same movie and you try to remember everything. Paul figures out that figures out that this Giovanni guy is not what he seems, and when she ends up breaking off with him, he ends up slapping her, and so Paul gets upset, and so he runs off and takes care of her, and they part ways, and Giovanni catches up with Paul, and Paul refuses to tell her where Mary is, and so Mary ends up Mary ends up waiting on the train, and Giovanni catches up with her, almost gets himself run over by the train, and in this little burst of moment, Mary just kind of falls back in love with him, and they walk in hands, and they walk toward an abandoned abandoned rail car, and they start to make love. They kiss, and she doesn't confess any love to him, but she says, he says that, I'll let you go, but I just want you to be happy, and she kind of just, she makes love to him without making love to him or using the word love, So anyway, they're in this car. The police come by, they're searching the cars, and they find him, and they are arrested. They're sent to the police station, and it's a crime, obviously. Well, obviously. However, because the Italian police, I guess, are a little sympathetic toward Mary because she's married and she was caught, making love with another man, and they say, oh, this won't look good for her, so, and so the officer says, when's your next train? Do you intend to take it? And she's like, yes. And of course, Giovanni's hurt, but he tears the warrant up, or the report up, and for her at least. I'm assuming Giovanni still has to do his thing. I didn't catch that. Because what was going to happen was originally they thought it was just going to be a fine, but I guess it was a crime, and so there was supposed to be a trial, but she didn't have time, and so they let her go. Giovanni says goodbye to her, and that's basically it, and that's how it ends. They say goodbye, and that's about the end of the story. So it's another kind of a tragic tale, but at the same time, it is a sort of a right being wronged, It is this whole idea of, the wrong turning to right, obviously Mary realized her mistake, and she realized she's got a family, she's got to take care of them, but at the same time she wants to leave Giovanni in good spirits, and she wants to make sure that Giovanni is well, and so that's why I don't think she leaves him just so soonly, she wants to have this last fling with him, because she does care about him a great deal, but she doesn't care about him enough to give up the family she established back in America. So I think that's how I interpret it. But once again, De Sica, tells a great story. And if you watch carefully, and I need to go back and take a peek at it, but one scene, there is a bride, a young woman, with all these people talking around her, and I think it's Maria. I'm like 90% sure that was Maria Pia Casillo, Maria from Umberto D. He called her back in for a cameo. I was looking at her, I'm like, that's Maria, ain't it? So I'm sure it's online. In fact, while we're filming, I'll take a look at that real quick. But anyway, Terminal Station is a really interesting story. Now, before I give you my rating, I'm gonna go and talk about the other side of the coin. Indiscretion of an American Wife. So this movie was produced with in partnership with David O. Selznick, who's the famous American producer. And he, worked with De Sica, and apparently, he worked with all these screenwriters, including Truman Capote, who took credit for the entire screenplay, although he only wrote 2 scenes, apparently. So anyway, there were a lot of disagreements between Selznick and De Sica, to the point where when Terminal Station was finished, Selznick took it and cut out, I guess, 20 minutes of the film, at least over 20 minutes, 25 minutes of the film, and leaving it at about 62, 63 minutes, which in the 50s wasn't really an acceptable screen time. That wasn't an acceptable screen time for a movie. Obviously we've seen that back in the day, back in the 30s, that was cool, with movies like The Most Dangerous Game or The Bank Dick, 70-minute movie. But anyway, so what they did was they got Patti Page to make a little music video, a little 8.5 music video, singing 2 songs where she's in this apartment. She sings a song Autumn in Rome, and then a song called Indiscretion, to fill up the time. So to bringing up the total running time to 71 minutes. And when I saw it, Patti Page, I was like, wait, what the hell is this? What am I watching? I'm like, what did Criterion do? But sure enough, I was like, oh, okay, Criterion knew what they're doing. So I guess that's how they filled it up. And then after that, the movie starts. I'm like, oh my god, really? This movie's only an hour long? And so I tried for the life of me to pay attention to all the edits. And I even took notes, of the order of the scenes and all that. The big ones that I can mention are the opening scene where Mary goes to Giovanni's door. A lot of that is shortened down. A lot of her feelings are summarized in a letter that was written by somebody else that wasn't in the original film. Like, a lot of their relationship was defined in this letter that you see somebody else read at the end. She crumples it up and all that. There's a part, yeah, when she gets to the train station, she ends up writing a telegram to Giovanni, and I don't know if she ever sends it or not, but that part is totally cut out in Indiscretion of an American Wife. Apart from that, there's just a lot of small edits, tiny edits of, like, mostly of the human side, the humanistic side that De Sica loves. He loves filming people. It's sort of like with Fellini, except De Sica's a little more believable, a little more various, and a lot more likable too. Yeah, but De Sica, a lot of his stuff, I think they cut out the Maria cameo. And speaking of which, I'm looking, and yeah, she was in that movie. Yeah, that was her. Awesome. But anyway, so I think they make it. Yeah, and there's a lot of edits, such as when they make love. There's a lot of more music to help define the scene. To dramatize the scene. And when Maria in the original one, I'm sorry, when Mary, well, it could be Maria. He does call her Maria, but I'm calling her Mary just because. When Mary's waiting on Giovanni talking to the police in the car, there's a officer who's like leers at her, like behind. He sticks his head in and makes faces at her, and that is way more emphasized in Indiscretion of an American Wife, the terminal station. In fact, you see a close-up of his face, making alternate faces too. You just see him like kind of just making faces in terminal station, but in Indiscretion, it's way more. You see the close-up, and it's a little more goofier and kind of grosser too. So yeah, and of course the sex is a little more, I think, emphasized. I mean, the scene where this girl in a tight sweater is walking through the train, and there's a little, like, it's let's just say it's a little more showcased. I don't know how. I mean, it's not a zoom up on her breasts or anything, but it just seems like more prominent in. I just forgot my own joke. It seems more prominent than in Umberto D. I mean, in Indiscretion of American, in Terminal Station. God, all this De Sica, I'm getting mixed up. But anyway, so yeah, so it just ends up like, it just seems like a lot of the side that the side of Mary that says, "Oh, I am really considering staying with you, Giovanni," is cut from Indiscretion. A lot of the dramatic, the side of her, I noticed little bits of dialogue that were cut, but yeah, the majority of it was still intact. I mean, like I said, I really need to play both at the same time, and sync up the movies and see what's cut. Notice all the edits. I'm sure there's a list online. In fact, this is gonna be different. Indiscretion. I'm actually like surfing right now and seeing differences. Let's see. I'm not seeing a list. But anyway, maybe I'll find something real quick. Maybe later, and I'll try to find something. It wasn't a bad film. I might get this one. I think it's still in print. I hope it's still in print. I'm pretty sure Umberto D is still in print, so this one's got to be still in print. We can check and see if it is right. Discretion. Yep, that one's still in print. So anyway, so that's enough of me. Okay, so Terminal Station, I'm giving an A- as well, because of just the story. Just Giovanni just is kind of a whiny, just a little whiny. Giving it that A minus. But Indiscretion of an American Wife, I'm giving a B minus. I would give it a B because Patti Page is honestly a really good singer. I'm familiar with her work a little bit, but I recognize her name at least. So I would give it a B for her, but because of all the edits made to Terminal Station, I can't give it any more than a B minus. So that's that. A minus for Terminal Station, B minus for Indiscretion of American Wife. Still not a bad movie. I'd check it out. It's just like Brazil. It's really cool to see just how American movie companies would interfere, with movies back in the day. But anyway, so yeah, there's that, and that's that, and that's it for me today. Saturday, we get started on the BRD trilogy by Rainer Werner Fassbinder, starting with Marriage of Maria Braun. Monday we do Lola, Veronica Voss, and then Wednesday? No, did I say? Yeah. Saturday, Monday, Veronica Voss. Wednesday, Lola. Thursday, The Pornographers. And then Saturday, we start the Ingmar Bergman trilogy, and so on and so on and so forth. So glad to be rolling along, finally, on these Criterion reviews. And, so that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Don't cheat on your husband with Italian lovers. Don't make love in abandoned rail cars, and don't make faces. Don't be a creepoid and make faces at women. And I'm sure there's others. But, and don't hit women either. Don't slap women just because they're going home to their husband and their daughters. Okay. Don't do that. That's not cool. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching, and we will see you on Saturday for the BRD trilogy, Part 1, The Marriage of Maria Braun. And until then, goodbye.